So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 3 of They Call Me Coach. This week, I'd like to introduce my next guest on the show, Vicky Milner. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. All good.
Excellent. So, for those of you joining us for the first time, just to be really clear, this is not a journalism show. This is just a conversation between hopefully like-minded coaches, but coaches that either I see throughout the year and don't often get to maybe talk about coaching or talk about basketball enough for various reasons. However, this week, this is a coach that I do see every single week because Vicky and I coach at the same club, Team Solent Kestrels. But I still thought it'd be great just to kind of dig a little bit deeper, delve a little bit deeper into some of Vicky's kind of history and some of her motivations for coaching the game and really being an ambassador for the game, particularly more recently being an ambassador for the girls' game. So, Vicky, for those people who maybe don't know your basketball history, can you tell me a little bit about how you got involved in basketball and then when did you make the transition from being a player to being a coach?
So I got started probably around the age of primary school, just going to a local club, and then went on to secondary school at Quilly. Our tutor was a basketball player, Tracy Bater, who's Erin's mum, who I coach now. Kind of carried that on, played a little bit of women's, played a bit of National League with Women and Solent Sons, because there was no junior programs for me to play then. So at the age of 13, 14, you kind of just got thrown into senior basketball. And there I met Bev and the Diamonds and kind of just got involved in coaching. Like, I didn't want to get a proper job, to be honest with you. I didn't want to work at Sainsbury's like that. So I thought I'll start up a little club, got a facility for free, charged kids £2, and it just built from there. And we ended up making an under-12 boys team for Solent. And yeah, jumped on board with Jimmy, Solent Stars, with the under-12 team.
Excellent. So you were a player, and I'd actually remember meeting you first when I came to the area as a player. Very aggressive, very attacking style of player. Has that kind of the style that you played, the kind of basketball that you like to play, has that impacted on your coaching style now?
Definitely. I think, like I said, being younger, we didn't have a junior girls program. There wasn't. Me and my friend Jem probably was the only girls of my age group that I remember playing. So we played with guys. Went to clubs. We played with guys. Jodie J the same as she grew up. You'd play with boys, so it was all about playing quick. If you wanted the ball, you got to go get it because they're not going to pass it to you too often. And also coaching boys for so long, like from the age of 16 until I had Brooke, coached guys. I didn't really have anything to do with the side of the program, and we played very much run and gun basketball, and I kind of wanted to bring that into the girls' side.
Excellent. So you've talked a little bit about that transition, like your early coaching career actually was with junior boys, excuse me, at the Kestrels, and now you're for the last 3-4 years, I can't even remember how long it's been. You've been really spearheading the girls program at Solent. Are there any real differences between coaching boys and girls?
Yeah, massively. I can remember when I first after I had Brooke, I transitioned back into coaching. So coaching was always kind of a big part of my life. And then being pregnant, having a child, as you know, kind of taking the coaching scene because you don't have time for it. And when I come back, it kind of dawned on me that there wasn't anything for girls. And that's why I started the girls side. So I've gone off on a tangent there, haven't I? What was your main?
That's all right. So we're talking about those differences between coaching boys and coaching girls, and you said that they're relatively significant.
Yeah, and with the boys, like they're always gonna come in, and it's everyone they all want to do stuff for the team. If there's an argument on court, it's dealt with straight away. It doesn't come into session. With girls, I found it was very much about having to show them that they're good all of the time. It's a real confidence thing with girls, massively so. Like with guys, you can go in, show them, I don't know, real simple under 12s, like zigzag dribbles through legs or going 1v1 and finish them. working on different moves. For a girl to try something different, they really struggle with it. Maybe the difference between achieve with a guy and a need to avoid with a lot of the female players. So that was something that I found hard to overcome, of almost like, you can do it, let's go. So it's more coaching confidence, coaching energy, rather than coaching the skill set, what it was with the guys.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about what separates you from other coaches. So, for me, I would say that I understand how to help kids get confidence, to be motivated, to be focused, to play quick, to play defense, to play fast. What kind of defines your style of basketball?
Very, very much just energy driven, and we give everything on the court. I think any of our under 18s play, our under 18s play, it's very much togetherness. Like, you're going to have your teammates back, but we're going to be running the whole time on the court. We're going to be giving energy on the defensive end. You have to be the first on the ball. You're going to be, the first to rebound the ball, and we're going to play very much a very fast-paced game. We want to try and get up and down the court within 2-3 seconds, but at the same time under control. I'd like to think that the players as well will kind of tell you, like there's a lot of care, especially with girls. You have to have a lot of care, and kind of on and off the court. They've got to know that you're for them and you've got their back, and if they need to work on something in a training session, that you're talking to them about that, or the training session, after the training session. They have, emotional needs, that you're helping them with that. You're more than just a basketball coach to them.
Excellent. And I've seen the evidence of that approach working really well this year. I know even my senior team, I think back to last September, our juniors played the senior team, and they really gave us a good scare, a good wake-up call at the beginning of the season, because of their ability to bring that energy and really play for each other and really have the backs of each other. So, I think you've set some good standards with those teams, and we appreciate being reminded that we can't just rest on our laurels because we're slightly older, and we should know a little bit more. But that energy game has been phenomenal this year. So, you coach at a club that this year was awarded, I think, Community Club of the Year. Can you tell me a little bit about kind of what being in that environment is like? What does the Kestrels family mean to you?
I mean, it goes way back to Bev's days, where it's just a community. Everyone has, you turn out to support the team that's playing after you. You take interest in all of the teams and how they're doing, and it's great to see the juniors the same. It's great to see the juniors, at the games, at the men's games, and also everyone just pulling their weight. Bishop is an awesome chairman, thing. Within 24 hours, it's pretty much done for you. Same with all the other volunteers on the side of the court. Match days, we are. I know it's not a professional club. We have a lot of volunteers. Everyone's doing things for free, but from the outside in, it looks very professional. You turn up on a match day, everything's done for you. I remember as a coach, you're the one getting the benches out, you're getting it out, you're setting everything up, and you no longer have to do that because there is such a big community behind it. As well with players giving back, like you look at the girls program and you have like the Annie, Harriet, Chloe, been through the program or come through Itchin and give up their time for free and give back to the younger kids. It was brilliant to see.
No, I think that's a great point. I mean, so many of our junior, in both the boys and the girls program, so many of the coaches have actually played in the program. So, you've got people like Khalid who've been in the program for 20 plus years. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. And then you've got, some of like the Harriets and the Chloes who have been juniors, come through Itchin, through the academy. Some of them have come to the university now as well, but they've continued to coach and they've continued to play, which, I think that's the backbone of a community club. Parents that I knew when their daughters were 14, they're still coming and supporting the club as well.
Yeah.
So it does make a really big difference. Let me just go back to my question so I don't so that I don't go off on a tangent. Tell me a little bit about the All Girls program, because I understand that you're an ambassador for the All Girls program. What has that meant to you, kind of as a female coach, trying to be a role model for females, for girls, etc. in the game?
I looked back and I thought, when I applied for it, I thought, wow, I'm doing everything that the rhymes of an ambassador. Like, we've built the girls program up for the last 3 years from absolutely nothing, and now we have under 12s, 14s, 16s, 18s. So it just made sense to apply and promote what we're doing on Instagram, social media to other clubs. And younger players as well that want to get into the game. I think it's really evident that there isn't a lot of female coaches, and this year having Chris Blunt as assistant coach, he points out quite a lot to me. It's amazing the amount of times a referee or a volunteer will presume that I'm manager because I'm a female, and go straight to Chris as a head coach. And then you look at the WEL coaching staff, and it's taken nothing away from the coaching staff, but there are no female coaches there. You look at your Division 1 women's coaches. Is there a female coach in there? I don't know there is. So even me, when I started coaching, I didn't even think of coaches. Like, none of my coaches now, I suppose, other than my PE teacher. So my aim to coach was just, I just under 10s, under 12s. It's more like a personal thing, I suppose. Like, the years I can coach them. Didn't even think of this. The reason I went to boys was because Bev, Ollie Jerram, and people like that were coaching guys. And they were just coaches that you could look at and go, oh yeah, I could imitate that. I could try and do that. When you look at female players now, when they look at their coaches, or whether they think, okay, yeah, I can coach females. Who are they aspiring to? I think we're doing a great job with Kestrels in terms of a lot of female coaching staff. And we got Annie, Keely, Harriet, and there are people that can look up to and go, okay, I might not quite make it as a player, or maybe I want to give back some. Why can't I do that and see those people doing it?
Excellent. And in terms of not just coaching, but in terms of kind of promoting the girls' game, I know we've spoken and on a number of occasions about trying to develop situations where girls can come to an all-girls camp. I know that was one of your ideas. Just tell me a bit more about that.
So we ran out when we first started 3 years ago. We ran quite a few all girls. Last year we were struggling for our under 12 and under 14 numbers. In this area, most kids play girls football is huge in Southampton, and netball is huge in Southampton. Teachers aren't comfortable teaching football. I think in the Southampton district, maybe there's 4 schools. In that league, people aren't playing basketball. So we decided to camp at minimal cost. I think we charged £10 for the day. It was 10 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock. So it's pretty much childcare. And we had 50 girls turn up. So we ended up with lots of girls joining our under 14s, under 12s. Because we're volunteers, didn't really have enough time to do another one. And our numbers have dwindled a little bit again. That our own players, like our under 14 girls or under 16 girls, some confident with going to camp with the boys. Again, maybe it's a confidence thing. School PE lessons nowadays are single, don't do an awful lot with like in older days. So I think doing all girls camps, potentially we would get all of those National League girls would come along to those more so than they do the mix. What's a shame in my I go to mixed camps. I think it only makes girls stronger players playing with guys, but I just think that's how society potentially has gone, and we need to try and encourage girls to get along and feel comfortable coming along.
Yeah, so that's just an extra shout out to anybody in the Southampton area. If you've got a daughter, or if you're listening and you've got an interest in basketball, there is an opportunity for you at Team Solent Kestrels. Bug your school teachers. We all know that we need more basketball being played in schools. If you're a school and you're struggling, contact the club. We'll try and help whenever we can. But yeah, we're keen to see more girls play more sports. I love to see girls playing kind of any sport, whether it's football, netball, hockey, rugby, but particularly I love to see kind of young girls getting involved in the game of basketball. I think it's just, as a game, it has the ability to teach so much. And we're doing a great job at the club here, so that's just a personal shout out to anybody in the Southampton area. So, this last year, you coached a lot of teams this year. Like, I know you worked with the team at Itchin, you've coached the Division 2 team, you've worked with the under-18s, and then I know you've assisted at the other age groups as well during the course of the year. You're a parent, you've got a husband as well. How do you fit it all in?
Just with a huge support network. So I have my parents help an awful lot looking after obviously Brooke. The under 18s are also, my daughter's 7, and the under 18s are her role models, like Charlotte Finn and people like that. That's who she wants to be. So she comes along quite a lot. And yeah, I don't know. I just do, and it's always been part of me. I always wanted to coach. I enjoy it, so I just kind of, make sure that I have that time to go. But it is difficult, all of those teams, and you're living it and you're breathing it. And especially with under 18s, D2 and Itchin, they pretty much are your family for that season. Like, I'm seeing those girls more than I am seeing Clayton and Brooke sometimes. Like, and they're seeing me as well more than their parents. So you do kind of get that tension a little bit between you. As well, I'm trusting you a little bit more, being them so much. But I also think it's important for Brooke, and I think that's being, females coaching rather than coaching males, because eventually, hopefully, she'll want to play, whether it's that or whether she goes and plays football or netball or hopefully it'll be basketball. That's what I'd love her to do. But I wanted her to have a program that she can also have, those role models too, whether they be the coaches, the players, and just being part of a team.
Excellent. So, you just talked a little bit about, when you coach, if you're doing it right, it is part of your extended family. How's your family been this year? How have the kids been treating you?
We have our ups and downs. We definitely have our ups and downs. It takes a while to just get used to it, and actually knowing that the best way to deal with things, maturity from them, and also us as coaches to just be as open and transparent as we can with them. So there's an issue at a training session, or there's an underlying thing that the girls know that come talk to us about it, and if they come talk to us about it, it gets sorted straight away, and we're on to the next day. And like I said, that's the main difference between girls and guys, is sometimes girls don't like to talk about it. They talk about it to other people rather than open up and say what the issues are. So it's taken us a little while to get through that. But luckily, a lot of them are in their second year and their third year. Because I teach them, so I'm also like their BTEC sport teacher or their sports leaders teacher at Itchin. We have to be honest with each other, because otherwise, headbutt, and it's not going to be fun for me to coach. It's fun for them to play. I think all of us could say we had a great season, and we're being on court. Everyone's missing each other. Every day to work. What workouts people were doing, what they're doing fitness, and just wanting to get back on the court and together again. I think you don't realise how good that close is, and how good it is to have each other, until that's like a situation like this where actually now get back on the basketball court and we can't do those things, and people now want that togetherness again.
Yeah, and I noticed like from watching your Instagram feed, that the girls are keen. They're doing stuff in the background. Have you done many kind of group workouts? What have you been using to keep in touch?
With the younger girls, with 14s, we've done some Zoom workouts. So like we've just done like little bits of ball handling and done things like that with them. With the older age group, they seem very motivated themselves already. Like they're doing an awful lot. So every day we set a task for them. So we have a little fitness task, ball handle task, and if they've got a hoop, a shooting workout. And then have to go on a certain amount of runs each week, and they record on their maps and they share it with the group to show each other what they do. So there's a little bit of competition between all of them. But it's also kind of remembering that by now we're pretty much in off season, and we would have given them a break completely. Maybe not right now, but maybe in a couple of weeks, we would 6 weeks break. So a few of them are finding it difficult. It's like saying to them, I'm set health more than anything. Like, you know, if they're doing it and it's keeping them busy, none of them have any college work to do, the year 11s are done, you know, it's more about keeping them busy for their own, you know, mental well-being, as well as preparing them for next season.
Okay, I mean, look, that's an interesting point because you talk about it would just about be the off season now. We would have naturally been getting, you know, we'd have got through the playoffs. Assuming we'd got this far, we'd got through the playoffs, and we'd be starting to think about winding down a little. But just tell me a little bit about what a normal kind of academy week looks like for those girls that go to the Itchen Academy.
Okay. So all the girls that go to Dice Academy do Dice MVQ folders. They get an MVQ out of it. Was a diploma in sport and excellence. So they do a lot of like nutrition workshops, psychology workshops. They scout their own games. They do reviews on how to improve them. So that's kind of our Monday morning session, and then Monday afternoon we train. Tuesday morning, Monday afternoon as well, they have their strength and conditioning session with our strength and conditioning coach. On a Tuesday, they have their individual sessions with good player development coach, and then afternoons we train again, and then we training is just a volume shooting session on Tuesday, and then in the evening we have our Kestrel D2 under 18 practice. Wednesday's WEABL games, and then Thursday it would depend if they came or not. It will either be S&C or recovery. Another training session in the afternoon, and then Friday morning another volume shooting session followed by a training session. It's pretty full on with them. It depends when we have our games. It depends because they've played 18s and D2 this year. If they've had a game Wednesday, Saturday, obviously we have to load manage that a little bit and take things away. And then there's some of them like someone like Caitlin who's training with D1 team as well. Looking at them as well and seeing what we can take away, just to make sure it's easy for them to do.
Excellent. So there's lots of contact. There's lots of opportunities to get on the floor. Lots of opportunities for individual player development, for shooting, mechanics, all of that stuff. They're learning about nutrition, and they're still students. They're still academics, so they still got to make sure they get their work done.
Yeah.
And they've got to learn to be organised. And I think that academy experience for players, whether it's boys or girls who want to be serious about their game, getting involved in an academy that firstly can deliver you a great academic route. Because am I right in thinking some of your girls do A levels as well?
Yeah, so there's a mixture. Some do A levels, some do BTEC. We have quite a few that stay for third years. We do a lot of professional courses in the third year, like sports massage, personal training, things like that.
Yeah, and I think both of us were both in educational settings. First and foremost, the academics is always the most important thing. We want great students first, and then we'll help them become great athletes and hopefully great basketball players. But that pathway, you mentioned Caitlin, and over the next couple of years we'll have more girls coming from Itchen and hopefully playing senior level basketball, whether that's at D2 or D1. And we're really just at the beginning of seeing that pathway start to work. So to all you junior players or players' parents who are hopefully listening, we have a pathway that we know can deliver what you need for your daughters and sons. I always think about the women first, and sons.
And I think just adding from that, I think what sometimes when we talk about basketball structure, as a lot of people think basketball, but like you say, there's a lot of academic back in there, and I'm there as a teacher. Matt Guyman's there full time. Jack O'Keefe's there full time. So there's a lot of monitoring, and there are kids that try and get away doing a bit of homework or falling behind, and that always ends up in suspensions, basically, of training. So no one falls behind with academics. Academics always come first, and no basketballer has ever left without the grades they need to be able to get onto uni or to America.
That's good. That's good to hear. What is it like working with the Brain Trust? So you work alongside Jack O'Keefe and Matt Guyman. You see those guys every single day. What is it like having that kind of support system, kind of as a coach?
Yeah, it's brilliant. They're both good guys, and you can knock about ideas. There's quite I haven't coached at the elite level for, like I started coaching boys at under 30, under 14, and yeah, I did take them up to under 16, but with the help of Jimmy, people like that. So, working with Jimmy, first of all, I learned a lot from that, but taking a week, there's a lot of new stuff that comes in. So just do Jack and Matt bounce ideas, but also, to talk to Jack and go, okay, you're doing this with player development. We're really struggling scoring or doing this. What would you suggest that we try? And, it's great to them about, like I say, Jack works with the girls quite a lot as well with player development. So that helps as well.
Look, and I know I don't have the luxury of being in the same office, but having a facility where you can bump into coaches, you can sit and our coaches are all pretty open. You can sit, you can watch a session, you can ask a question. I know that other coaches in the program have sent me messages saying, "Oh, I remember Matt midway through the season saying, "Oh, look, I noticed that you were really struggling getting some post touches and sending me some resources and just giving me some ideas." It's a pretty exceptional kind of opportunity because for years we've all coached and we all see each other on a Saturday, but we maybe haven't had the opportunity to actually watch another coach in the club. Being in the same venue does make a massive difference and really does help.
Yeah.
So, last couple of questions, and this is specifically for, there will be some of your kids listening this evening. So, is there one moment this season where you made a big mistake and you can now own up to it that it was a big mistake?
Yeah. D2, London Thunder. We had the worst game. We were, I don't know, like 7, maybe 8 down with 2 minutes to play, and somehow out of a hole and managed to get ourselves near. We had 8 seconds on the clock. They had scored, so they went 1 up. So we called timeout to advance the ball. 8 seconds left. We drew up a play for Charlotte Finn to get a score. She gets a score. There is still a tough shot, but there's 3 seconds left to go on the clock. They call a timeout. We're 1 up. And they've got a massive goal. We have no size on our team whatsoever, and most of our size is fouled out by this point too. So we're like, okay, it's not going to hurt. Well, Roz, the player coach from London Thunder, who also, she doesn't get up till half time, and then she comes on and punishes you from half forward. So we're like, okay, there's going to be a two-way play from here. Exactly. Don't let Roz get the ball, first of all. So someone else has then got to feed the ball. And then we were going to double the tall player. But we should have went into a 2-1-2, and we didn't go into 2-1-2, and it went straight to tall player with a lob. They score, and we lost by 1. And reflecting back, I look at it, we should have went into a zone, and I should have made 1 change defensively, but I didn't. And coaches make mistakes. One of those. We won a couple by 1, and we lost a couple by 1.
Of course they do. We all make those mistakes, and I'm sure I can recount at least 5 or 6 of those moments over the course of the last season. Thinking about mistakes, not so much mistakes. Thinking about kind of going into next season, is there anything from this year that you think, next year when I go back in, I want to be so much more prepared in that scenario? And it might not be a particular play, or it might not be against a particular defense. But is there anything in particular you're thinking, right, between now and September, I want to be a bit more prepared than I was last year?
Yeah, not necessarily prepared. Our junior, looking at our junior program and what we've done this year, we find at all age groups, our intensity's there, and that's what I've said. What we've always been about is intensity. Let's try and keep teams to low scores, but we can't score. And WEABL was evident. Under 18, it was evident. We can get to the basket, great opportunities, but our shooting percentage is very low. And improved as time went on. It's not necessarily, the go or anything like that. Like some of them have only been with us years, some of them 3 years. And actually, like under 18 league is a Premier League. Like we're going to Manchester. There's an easy game. Everything's tough. These girls up until the age of under 16, under 7 played regional level, which there's such a massive difference. Like you don't have enough to shut off and do stuff like that. So more change in our training session structure, a lot more time. I've really been looking into a lot more games to understand. Also, like small-sided games, doing a lot more 2v2, 3v3, 2v1. What I think did, but putting a lot more emphasis on being able to finish, like getting a lot more finishing drills in, getting a lot more shooting in, but not just standing shooting, like making sure everything's with a defensive presence. Maybe sometimes when we did that this year, when we put it in, actually a lot of our drills gave the offensive player an advantage. Great that they've got the advantage in training and they can finish, but actually we got into a game, can they create the advantage in the first place? So working a little bit more on making sure when we go and not banana boat round people, make sure that we move off the ball more. And me recognizing as well that you can't compare girls basketball to guys basketball. I learned 2 years ago that the game is so different. You can't rely on having 1, 2, or 3 players that are more athletic than the other team and get up and down. Like it's more of a team game and being able to get your teammates open and being able to screens and so on. So I think tweak the structure of our training sessions, and also probably offensively, because we just have no size. What is a shame. Find me the big people in the south. Is that if there is any 6 up there, then come find me, because we have no tall people.
Okay, so that's a shout out to anybody over. I mean, what was your tallest player this year? 5'11"?
No, I don't even think that. About 5. No, Faye's one of our tallest. Jess Blanford was our 5 under 18. So yeah, 5'8", 5'9".
Okay, so anybody over 5'10" will, to be honest, I mean, we won't turn anyone away, but if there are any singles in the south who are interested in getting involved in basketball, by all means, give us a shout. Vicky, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. We joked about it before. This is not always your first choice activity to spend your evening, but I really appreciate you taking the time to come and join us, talk about kind of your program, your background, some of the things that you're looking to do and work on, going into the off season. Hopefully we'll get some sense of when next season is due to start and when we can all start to reunite with our teams and get on the floor. But until then, just take care of yourself. Say hi to Brooke.
Will do.
And we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, Vicky. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week. Stay safe. Stay home. Be well. Bye.